Hello?
Hello, Ingrid. It's Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well indeed, thank you. It's a thrill to speak with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Sure.
Look, I have to get this out of the way. I'm truly sorry about your mum.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's a rough one.
Yeah.
But thank you. That's kind.
Thank you very much. But on a lighter note, congratulations on the new album, Lights Out. It's an absolutely beautiful collection of works.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We put it out last year in the States, and everybody says their favorite record is the newest one. So that's how I feel about it. But I really love it. I love that it's a lot of my other all my other records. I just wrote all the songs myself and had one producer, and it was a bit isolated. And this one, I really felt the need to kind of go outside of what I normally had done, and I ended up writing with a lot of different writers and different producers, and came up with a really collaborative. What I wanted to feel like a kind of family affair, and I feel like that's what we got.
Indeed, and you must be so proud of it, of course. Girls Chase Boys, what a fantastic track, and the video looked like so much fun to produce.
Oh yeah, that was really fun. I came up with the idea of just kind of doing a gender flip on that Robert Palmer video from the 80s, and the video is actually really fun to film in that I really spent more time in like the makeup chair than I actually did in front of the camera. Most of the time I was just sort of sitting back and watching all these beautiful people dance around, and it was really, really fun.
Indeed, it must have been. And can I say on behalf of all men, we're not the slightest bit offended.
Wait, what did you say, the slightest what?
We're not the slightest bit offended.
Yeah, thank you. So,
Pleasure indeed.
Some people were kind of, it's funny how, if you put a man in tight clothing and lipstick, some people can't handle it. But for me, it was meant to be good fun and just play on the kind of severe gender roles that we've imposed on each other. And the song itself is about, there's a line that says girls, chase boys, chase girls, chase boys. So it's sort of, everybody is just, kind of wanting the same thing. Doesn't matter your gender or your preference, So we kind of wanted to pull that into the video idea.
Indeed, and it worked beautifully. It worked for everybody. The only problem is it made me want to go to the gym straight away.
Yeah, I liked a lot of comments where a guy's like, I just watched that and I was kind of aroused, and I'm not sure if I was looking at a woman or a man. And I was like, that's the point, you weren't supposed to know all the time. You're supposed to kind of be a little, uncomfortable at times and question things. It's like, what am I looking at? But yeah, it was really fun.
Oh, fantastic. Obviously releasing it in February 2014 was a stroke of genius. Do you think that contributed a great deal towards the interest in your album?
Releasing it in when?
In 2014, in February, releasing it early?
Oh, was that, wait, that was, you mean earlier than the record?
I think so. I could have that wrong, of course, too. How embarrassing.
See, my record came out in April of 2014.
Yes.
So it really wasn't that much earlier, but that's normally the way that I do stuff, is you release a single a couple months before the record, just to kind of hopefully get some excitement going before the record. And I kind of knew with that video, I mean, I thought the song itself was pretty strong, but I was like, if we put a really great video along with it, that'd be really fun. But yeah.
Indeed, and obviously it worked. I mean, the album debuting at an astounding number 5 on the Billboard 200 chart, at 37,000 copies in its first week. That's truly remarkable.
Yeah, I'm not Beyonce or Katy Perry or anything like that, but I have my own label here, and I'm able to stay independent, and so I think for where I am, yeah, we were very, very happy with how the record came out, for sure.
Absolutely. And 6 albums since 1995. What a remarkable career already, and a huge following you have. What's kept you driven to produce music of such beautiful quality so quickly?
I just kind of make music as I feel like I want to make it. It doesn't to me seem like I'm making a lot. It just sort of is the way that I think I am. I have a quick turnover also. Like I'll make a record, and then after 7 months of touring on it, I want to start making a new one. I think it's just part of my personality is kind of I want to kind of go to the next thing, and so I guess that translates to my music too.
Indeed, and with the upbringing you had with Mum sculpting and Dad composing, do you remember a time when you realised you were destined for an artistic musical career?
Well, I always wanted to do theater. I thought theater and singing, those are two things that I really loved, and I went to school for musical theater. I did theater all my life growing up. I took voice lessons and piano lessons. So I just always wanted to do something in the arts. And my brother was raised, by the same parents in the same household, but he teaches math. So I feel like it does. Yeah, I know, it's kind of funny, but I think it just I think it's something you're born with. I think it's something you're born with, and then if you're in an environment where you're fostered, where you're supported to follow your dreams, then which I was. I think because my parents were artistic, and I think a lot of times artists are very supportive and open-minded, and so I think that was, what I grew up in, and so I think it was very easy for me to sort of make that decision. But I do think it's just kind of something you're born with, because if, you would think my brother would have turned out similarly, but he didn't.
Indeed. Perhaps he teaches math in a most beautiful and artistic way.
That's true. Maybe he does.
Look, You Got Me has such a tremendous feeling of soul, particularly with the opening. The entire album is really quite diverse. Is this your intention to include something for everybody?
Not intentionally to include something for everybody. I think again, the idea of bringing in lots of different writers and different producers is the idea of just having a diverse record, for sure. I didn't want it to just kind of be the same song over and over again. More for myself, I think, than for anybody. But that song actually is a pre-existing song written by Storyman. It was a really great band, and I loved the song, but I thought I wanted to do like a pumped up version of it, so I wrote a verse to it, and we kind of tweaked the chorus, and we changed the key, and we added some drums, and but yeah, that was originally their song that I kind of gave a little revamp to. Yeah,
a little oomph to it, absolutely. Open Hands showcases your beautiful voice so tremendously, and it's a very moving song. I take my own meaning from it, but what is the meaning behind it from your point of view?
That was during a time when my mother was going through a lot of treatments for her illness, and while I was always quite hopeful about everything, I think my fears came out in my writing. And so that was about the idea of letting go of someone that you love, and so it's got a pretty deep meaning to me these days, and performing it is definitely a challenge, but it's definitely one of my favorite ones on the record.
Absolutely, and along the same vein, I guess, it is Wonderful Unknown, in fact, tackling the mortality we all share?
Yeah, that's an idea of sort of this. When I was writing it, I had this picture of this vignette, these little vignettes of this couple, and the first verse is them, their first date in New York City, walking around together, and then the second vignette is the family, and they've got children, and then the third is their old couple on a park bench, kind of thinking and talking about their life, and each time the wonderful unknown is a different unknown. So at first it's going into a new relationship, and then it's having children and growing old together, and then it's eventual passing. And so just at every turn there's this unknown in front of us, and it keeps changing and shifting, and sort of just embracing that instead of running away from that. That's what the song is about.
Absolutely, and look, it is a moving track, and so we have the pleasure of your company in Australia next week, and the response is incredibly huge. It's great.
I've been there twice before, so every time we've gone, the shows have gone really well. The audiences are just so awesome and like kind and joyful, and there's this just sort of sense of relaxed joy that I feel comes off of people, and it's. I feel like. Are you? Which city are you?
We'll be coming to see you in Melbourne.
Yeah. Okay. So Sydney and Melbourne. I played Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and not Perth. I'm going to Perth this time.
Yeah.
Perth is I've never been to Perth before. This is the first time. There's another. I can't think of this place, but I remember Melbourne and Sydney always being very fun, and just very boisterous, and people are just so. I mean, I had a couple of days off in Sydney. The last time we were there, our flight got canceled, so we had a full day off in Sydney just to kind of do anything, and we went shopping and eating, and we went to the, all around the Opera House, all the outdoor area and the park, and it was just we went to the aquarium, I think.
Oh yes.
I got to see koalas. It was I've always had such a good time there, and the shows are always so much fun too. So, the flight is the only thing that I'm dreading.
Oh,
but
I know,
once I get
right?
there, I'll be good.
Indeed, we've recently gone over. We recently went over to LA, and it's horrendous. Such a long flight.
Yeah, I'm in LA for a few days because I'm from Brooklyn in New York. So I came to LA yesterday just to have a couple days here because it just breaks up that long flight a little bit more.
Indeed, yeah. It's an extra 5 hours from me.
What is it? Yeah, it's another 6 hours to New York from LA. So it's already a very long flight from LA, but it just, pushes you over the edge when you have to have a layover in LA, and then you go to New York. You're like, oh, I can't stand it. So.
Oh, beautiful. Well, while you're in Melbourne.
We arrive in Sydney. I think we have a day to kind of get our bearings straight, and then we kind of hit the ground running. So that one day will be good. I'll sort of figure out what time zone I'm in and kind of get on that.
And try and get over that jet lag. Well, while you're in Melbourne, you hit us up and we'll take you on a little tour. That'd be our pleasure.
I would love to. I haven't gotten a chance to explore that city because the way it usually works is we get to a city, we fly the morning of the show, go to the venue, sound check, have the show, go to sleep, and then go to the airport the next day, fly to the next city. Because in the States, you can drive on a tour bus. You drive from one place to one place, but everything in the major markets in Australia are so spread out that we're always flying around. We end up having some time in Sydney usually because there's promo and press and things like that. But I do love it there, and I have family in near Sydney, so I'll probably
wonderful.
When I'm there. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Look, I've got to ask you, and I could speak with you all day. Unfortunately, time flies. Do you have a favourite track from Lights Out, personally?
It kind of changes a lot, and sort of what I'm kind of needing to hear. And I think right now, the one that I feel sort of the most emotional and close to when I'm singing it is Home. Right. There's something really just because I feel very transient right now. They're moving around a lot, and so my music sort of has to become my home, and so when I'm singing that, it gives me a sense of sort of just stability right now in my life. But it does shift. My favorite songs are always shifting and changing.
Well, we want to thank you very much for such a beautiful album. The meaning behind the songs and a favourite shifts from day to day and hour to hour for us too. But thank you so much. It's a beautiful album.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure indeed. Look, we'll see you next week. We'll come and pop out to Melbourne and visit you. Thank you very much for your time today, and we can't wait to catch up.
Thanks so much. I'll see you soon.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Ingrid.